While making the video, Did Dinosaurs Get Cancer?, I mentioned that simply being a multicellular organism puts you at risk for developing cancer. And that led to a very interesting question: do trees get cancer? Because trees are complex organisms with many different cells and many different tissues, so logically, trees should be able to develop cancer. And the answer is yes, trees do develop cancer. But cancer to a plant and cancer to an animal are very different things. At its most basic, cancer is a blanket statement for a number of different diseases that all center around cell growth. When a cell becomes damaged in some way, sometimes it'll start reproducing again and again and again and again, way faster than it's supposed to. And normally when this happens, when a cell becomes damaged, the cell will destroy itself. But sometimes that mechanism also doesn't work, and then you just get cells that just reproduce and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce, to the point where they reproduce faster than the immune system can stop them. And when that happens, you have cancer. In an animal, this is very, very bad news, because we are complex creatures that have tons of discrete organs that all have to function perfectly to keep us alive. When cancer happens, it disrupts those organs, and it can also spread through our bloodstreams to other organs, disrupting them as well, and that's kind of how it kills us. It's just the cells disrupt our discrete organs and our bodies shut down because it needs those organs to function. Plants are different. They don't really have discrete organs. They don't really have super centralized systems that can be disrupted easily. Now, they do have structures. They have vascular systems, they have leaves, they have all these processes, but they're all spread out, and they're not super vital in any given location. So when a tree develops a malignancy, which they do on occasion, that malignancy won't destroy an organ. It won't cause the tree much harm. In fact, most of the time, they cause the tree no problem whatsoever. They usually happen on the roots under the ground. Bish bash bosh, the tree does not care. They can also happen anywhere on the tree. If there's damage to the tree, sometimes it happens. The xylem will start to grow abnormally, and you get a burl. And a lot of trees have these, and it doesn't bother the tree. Another thing to note is that animal cells, like our cells, are easy to move around. If they break off, they can go anywhere, and there's also a lot of spaces in our bodies for them to go. In a plant, that's not the case. Cells all have cell walls, which keeps them rigid and in place. So a tumor can't really go anywhere. And they also don't have a circulatory system like we do. So if a malignancy forms in a plant, it can't travel around the plant. There's no bloodstream to move those cells to other parts of the tree. The vascular system of a plant is made to transport water and nutrients. It's not made to transport blood. There's no high volumes of fluid moving like in a bloodstream. So even if cells did break off from the tumor into the xylem and the phloem, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay put. So because of this, whenever a plant develops a malignancy, it's usually not a problem because it's compartmentalized. It won't go anywhere. There's no organs to be destroyed by it. So most of the time, a tree will develop a malignancy and the tree does not care. Now, sometimes, rarely, if the malignancy is somewhere deep in the xylem and it grows to the point where it actually starts to cut off transport of nutrients up and down the tree, it can start to harm the tree. But that happens very rarely. Most of the time, again, they happen in the roots, and trees have lots of roots. If one root gets severely damaged by a malignancy, other roots will just grow and take over, and it's not a problem. The malignancy just stays there. If it grows anywhere else on the tree, like on the trunk or in the branches, same thing. It does not matter. Trees are very decentralized. So, yeah, trees do get malignancies, but I wouldn't say they get cancer in the same way that we do. Although they will get things that are technically cancer, because they cannot metastasize and because they do not harm the plant in any real way. It's not really a disease. It's more just an odd growth, like a hyperplasia, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you ever see a tree that has weird rounded growths on it, you can be like, hey, that tree has cancer. But the tree does not care. Malignancies to plants are just not an issue most of the time, unlike in animals. So if you see a tree with one, don't worry, the tree is fine. You can still hug it if you want, but people will make fun of you. You should do it anyways, it's fun.